What up, Screen Fiends? I'm GB, and you're tuned in to Headz TV, where we like to discuss all the wonderful things appearing on your movie and your TV screens. In this episode, I'm going to give my review of The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 3, titled Monsters. Alright, so in my opinion, another fantastic episode. Now, I'm seeing a lot of bad comments, hearing like people complaining about this season so far. I think these first 3 episodes have been fantastic. Every episode is better than the last. Now, yeah, I was a little underwhelmed from the premiere, but then episode 2 was better, and now episode 3 was even better in my opinion. I really wish I could make people see what I see. I really wish I could do something to boost the ratings, but unfortunately, I don't have that much power, at least not yet. So, with that being said, episode 3, Monsters, I loved it. I thought it was great. It's another one of these episodes that I always talk about this, okay? It's a perfect example, just like last episode was, of how The Walking Dead can tell so much story with so little dialogue. A lot of shows, especially on like the major networks, but you know, all over TV, even some cable shows, they really can't get their point across or explain what they want to explain without tons and tons of dialogue. But shows like The Walking Dead can actually do this with silence. So they don't need dialogue. They don't need action. They don't need a ton of things to rely on to tell their story. The actors and their acting ability, which is just tremendous on the Walking Dead. Everybody's always solid and always good. Very rarely is there a weak performance. Very rare. And if there is, it's usually maybe from a side or a not so major character as opposed to the main cast. So, right, so if you took away, so they don't need the dialogue. They don't need those action set pieces. They don't need even fast-paced episodes or tons of things going on to really tell a great story and give you great character moments. So if you're paying attention to the show, even in the slower, quieter moments, The Walking Dead has a ton to say. And this is another perfect example of it. Was there dialogue? Absolutely. Was the dialogue a little cringy at times? It always is with Ezekiel. So, I mean, that even in the comics, that's his character. He's just a cringy character. I think it was done on purpose, honestly. So yeah, The Walking Dead does such a good job at purveying so much story with so little. All right, sorry for the rambling. Let me move on. This episode I loved. So now we have the Rick and Daryl thing, which is where I want to start because I'm really enjoying this dynamic. If we take it back to season 4 with the revelation of Daryl feeling like an outcast and feeling like, he has nobody, to Rick telling him, "You're my brother," right? And now, we've seen the evolution of those characters up until this point, and now it's where Daryl is really going all monster. Title of the episode, right? And now where Rick is fighting becoming the monster again. Because Rick has already went down that road. He's already started to go monster and brought himself back. And now he's starting to go monster again. So when him and Morales are having that conversation, which I really, really enjoyed that conversation, more on Morales in a second, you get a sense, even last episode with the baby and everything, you get a sense that Rick is really conflicted. He knows he's got to do what he's got to do to get rid of Negan, which he's got to do, but he's really, really starting to get conflicted about killing all these other people, that some of them may be innocent. Not all of them killed Glenn. Not all of them follow Negan willingly. And even the ones that do, some of them have families, children, wives. The things that Rick has or had. The things that Rick lost. The things that he pines to have again. You understand? So basically the way Rick is looking at it is he's killing his dream for these other people. A dream of a civilization, of cooperation, of living life the way that people want to live it, not under somebody else's boot or under the fear of getting clubbed with Lucille back there, right? So I really like what they're doing, and they couldn't have picked 2 better characters to start to go through this. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, it's the same thing they did with Carol and Morgan. And yeah, it is a similar thing. It totally is. It was a little bit more extreme, I think, with Carol and Morgan, because Carol was like, kill everybody. Morgan was like, kill nobody. So it was a little more extreme, but yeah, it's the same ideal. But we've been seeing it from the beginning of The Walking Dead with Rick and Shane, with Glenn and various other people and his ideals. So this idea is very important in The Walking Dead of, yes, sometimes you have to do bad things, but should you become a monster? Should you do bad things at the cost of your own soul or sanity in like Morgan's case or Rick's case when he went nutso? You know what I mean? This is a really, really interesting topic, and I love that the show is delving more into it with bigger characters than just Morgan and Carol. So I can't wait to see where that goes. Now, I'm surprised that they brought Morales back just to kill him. And I know in my last review for episode 2, I said I wouldn't like if they killed him right away, because then I feel like it's just fan service. But now I'm looking at it, the way it was done, the way it was handled, and the fact that it was Daryl that did it in that fashion, I feel like resonates so much more. Because I like the death now because of that reason. Now I feel like it was more of an FU to all the people that kept saying, bring Morales back. Where's Morales? Morales is here. Morales is there. I feel like it was even a like, not fan service, but a middle finger to those people. Like, you wanted him back? Here he is. Up, there's an arrow to the eye. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Great stuff. I was totally wrong on my predictions for what I thought was going to happen with Rick and Daryl, but I'm glad that they went the route they did. I thought my idea was good too, and it still may unfold that way, but I like the way it was handled with them and their part. All right, let me move on. I'm not going to talk too much more about what went on. A lot of killing, a lot of death. Daryl is straight up gangster, straight up monster, and like I said, Rick is fighting that monster inside of him. Okay, now, next. And wouldn't it be crazy, and I'll talk about this in a future video, if Rick crying and saying, his mercy will overcome his wrath and all that stuff is after he kills Daryl, because Daryl is going nutso, would be absolutely mind-blowingly heartbreaking and insane. And yeah, I said it. I didn't hear anybody else say that yet, and I'm going to say it again, because if that happens, I want to get credit for popping that one out of the bag. All right, let's keep it moving. Now, let's talk about Ezekiel and Carol and them. I liked what was going on here. The way it was handled was interesting and different. I thought the editing could have used a little bit better work in the placement of where to put this scene, this dialogue, that dialogue. I feel like they gave away a little bit too soon. I don't know. Something felt off about it. But for the most part, I really enjoyed it. I liked how, we saw this. It didn't unfold the way I thought it was going to do. Once again, my predictions way off. Go watch my predictions video and watch and see how off I was for this prediction. It's pretty funny. I watched it after the episode just because I knew I was wrong. So I wanted to see exactly how wrong I was, and I was way off. But now we did see things turn for the worse for Ezekiel and crew. But most of the episode, again, was Ezekiel being upbeat and positive and good things happening, even though they kind of blew their load in the beginning by showing us that things weren't going to work out so good for Ezekiel and them. But I think we all kind of knew that anyway, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But, once again, we see a lot of subtle looks from Carol. Not anything as far as dialogue or words go, where she knows that, yeah, okay, Ezekiel may be right, and he may be continuing to prove himself right, but that doesn't mean he should have the confidence and the hubris level that he has, because things are obviously going to go bad, and we see that that's going to happen. How is it going to go bad? We know Ezekiel's going to lose some important people. Maybe Jerry, maybe Shiva, maybe somebody else. We know that some important people are going to die here. Maybe Ezekiel dies. Maybe Carol gets gravely injured. Who knows? But I doubt it's going to be Ezekiel. But whoever goes, it's going to really affect Ezekiel in a big way. Because look at the way he's going through this. We're going to win. No, we're not going to lose anybody. Not one man. And, he keeps proving himself right. He's only setting himself up for heartbreak and failure. So that's all I'm going to say about that one. Let's move it on. Next, Morgan and Jesus. I loved it. Why are people complaining about this? I have no idea. Yes, it's the same complaint that Morgan has had with Carol and Rick and whatever. Not complaint, conflict, sorry. And then you have Tara having that same conflict with Jesus also. But like I just said earlier with Rick and Daryl, this is an important part of The Walking Dead. It's, do we have to become the monsters to defeat the monsters? And, at what cost will you go to save your loved ones? This has always been the major theme in The Walking Dead. So why are people complaining about it now? I don't know. I'm not tired of it because they keep doing it in new, different, and inventive ways. To me, yes, it's the same idea, but it's a fresh take on it each time. That's how I feel. Anyway, that fight scene, I loved it. It was so kung fu movie. It was so nice and refreshing and different for The Walking Dead. They need to do more of that with Jesus. When Jesus came into the comics and brought that martial arts flavor, it was absolutely insane, and I loved every minute of it because we didn't see anything like that before. And they utilize it good in the comics. In the show, they're not utilizing it enough. In the comic, he does come across as too superhero, too superhuman, and too untouchable. I admit it. I don't want Jesus on the show to turn out to be that way. I like that he's a normal-sized human being and not this giant like Jesus is in the books. But they need to do more of the kung fu because Tom Payne is nailing it. That's not a stunt double. He's really doing that. So is Morgan. They're really doing all that shit, and they are awesome at it. And I need to see more of that type of action. You don't have to do it from every character because then it'll seem stupid. You start doing a whole bunch of people with martial arts type of skills. But if you do it with those two characters, maybe find a savior here or a savior there that seems to know some hand-to-hand, that'll be really, really nice and really refreshing change for The Walking Dead. But I like all that stuff. How, the acting between Morgan and Jesus is so fantastic. All the acting on the show. But I got to particularly pull them aside for this episode and how great they were, especially Morgan. Lenny James is always fantastic in everything he does, but especially in this show. So I really liked it. I don't know why people are complaining about it. Like I said, I want to see more of that. So that conflict is going to be interesting, where Morgan goes off and what he does. Are we going to get clear Morgan again? Are we going to get, here's not here Morgan again? Or are we going to finally get a Morgan that's balanced between the two? Which is where I think ultimately that character is going to go. Before his demise, we all know Morgan is going to go eventually. Maybe this season, maybe not. I personally think this season, so we'll see where that goes. All right, sorry. Let me move on to the last group that we follow this episode, and that's going to be Aaron's group. And again, with the acting. Aaron and Eric, that's Ross Marquand is who plays Aaron. I'm not sure who plays Eric, but both of them, both of them are so fantastic in this episode. You feel Aaron's pain. I'm choked up. My eyes are swelling up because, from that job, that acting job and that writing and that directing there. It was all done fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. I really can't wait to see where this is going to propel Aaron's character in the future. I'm really excited for that. That was really interesting. I'm really hoping they don't blow by what was up with that, the way that they attacked that outpost, because they attacked it so different, and the fact that they didn't just start gunning everybody down and all that, I really hope that they explain that a little bit better. But the Aaron and Eric stuff was really so fantastic. Job well done by both of those actors, especially Aaron. He's also always fantastic on the show, but he's never really been given much meat. Not a whole bunch of. He's had some good emotional stuff, but not like this. This was just fantastic. You believed every word of it. And I forgot to talk a little bit more about the whole Jared and Morgan and transporting the prisoners stuff. That was all good stuff too. I really liked it. I thought it was gonna play out different, but in the end, I thought job well done. And the Gregory stuff. Look, all the casting is great in the show. Everybody does an awesome job, especially all the characters that are pulled from the comics. You really feel like they got the essence of the character, even if everything isn't the same. And there's changes and remixes. They really get the essence and the core of every single character from the comics. And those that aren't really the same, like Herschel, who's totally different than he was in the comics, it's a vast improvement. You know what I mean? So everybody does a great job. But Xander Berkeley as Gregory is the comic. I'm telling you, if you don't understand what I'm saying and you're not a comic reader, just Google some of Gregory's panels from the Walking Dead books and read the dialogue, and they nailed the look, they nailed the writing, and they nailed the actor, just the mannerisms. It's what you think Gregory would sound like and look like. The part with the pancakes, I laughed out loud. I had to rewind it because I missed a line or two after that. That was all priceless stuff. I love what they're doing there. And what they're doing with Maggie, too. Totally badass. The widow. Like, love it. Yeah. So this episode was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. I can't wait for this season to just keep unfolding so I can do the binge. I just can't wait for it to be over so I can binge it. As funny as that sounds. And I never say that about The Walking Dead because I never want it to end, you know? But, you know, fantastic job. Like I said, one of the better episodes of the season. This season already, to me, is putting like solid episodes with good action, good story, good pacing. And that's when The Walking Dead is at its problems, when it's at its lowest point. Their problem is pacing. Their problem is lack of action or lack of scares. That's what their problem is. And so far this season, all good. I know it's only three episodes in, but come on. You guys got to admit that they are at least nailing the pacing this year. All right, let me stop rambling in your ear long enough. It looks like these videos are going to be a little bit longer for The Walking Dead this year because the episodes are so jam-packed, at least so far. I know I left a lot of stuff out. I didn't talk about everything, but, you know, it is what it is. I can't talk forever. You guys won't watch it to the end. So thank you for watching. Always appreciate it. Don't forget to leave it down in the comments. Anything, how you feel about this episode, how you feel about this season so far of The Walking Dead, anything The Walking Dead related. Or if you just want to comment on my videos, give me any pointers, suggestions, anything at all. It's always appreciated. You guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time.